Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. Before I get into today's video, which is an update on my 100 cards for $100,000, in case you missed the YouTube post that I did, in addition to meeting, hanging out, and having a great time with fellow YouTubers and collectors at the National, meeting Wade Boggs, picking up some really nice vintage baseball cards, I also picked up COVID. And as I understand it, there were a decent amount of others who picked up COVID as well during the National. Now, whether it was from the convention floor, the casinos, who knows how it got spread. So for those of you who did contract COVID, I wish all of you a very speedy recovery. As for me, I'm pretty fortunate. My symptoms seem to be pretty mild. I am working from home. I'm quarantining, but I'm able to work from home. And for the most part, I just feel a little blah. But so I do thank all of you who have reached out to me via text or YouTube and to wish me well. I really do appreciate that. All right, so on to the update for my 100 cards for $100,000. If you're not familiar with this series of videos, I originally did a video thinking, hey, if I had $100,000 to spend on baseball cards, vintage baseball cards, what cards would I buy with that money? So I picked 100 cards, figured out relative prices, added it all up, came to about $100,000. And originally that was going to be the end of it. But then I saw the cards on the list and thought that, hey, I could start going after some of these cards, and sort of turned it into a little project or challenge to see how many of these cards that I had picked out, ones that I would love to have in my collection, and see how far I can get up that list to all 100. Now, the big boy is the 52 Topps Mickey Mantle. Don't see that in my future, so I'll probably be lucky if I get to 60, 70 out of the list. But up to the National, I was at card number 17. I bought 9 vintage baseball cards at the National. Of those 9, 6 were on my 100 card list. And it's really cool that, I would run into fellow YouTubers. We'd all show off our pickups, what we got, and be in awe of all the great cards that we got at the National. It was pretty cool to have all these YouTubers say, hey, did you get any cards from your, is this card on your 100 list? So that was really cool to know that you guys are following my progress as I do that. Now, if you've seen any of my National update recap videos, you'd have seen these cards, all right? But I wanted to do this video separately as a continuation of the series. So I understand this video may not get as many views because those of you who have seen my recap videos know what cards I'm going to be showing off. But at any rate, I wanted to do this video. And so I'm going to turn the camera around and show off the 6 new cards that I got at the National toward my 100 cards for $100,000. Okay, before I start showing off the cards, when I was preparing for the National, I was actually hoping to pick up cards for my Carl Yastrzemski run. Unfortunately, I didn't pick up any Carl Yastrzemski cards at all. Just couldn't find the right ones and the right grades for the right price. And so I pivoted to other cards that I was maybe interested in. I wasn't necessarily targeting these 6 specific cards I'm going to be showing off. It just so happens that I saw examples and ones in the grades I was looking for and the price point. So yeah, I ended up sort of stumbling upon these 6, so to speak, but very happy to add them to my collection. All right, I'm going to go in chronological order, newest card first and then the oldest card at the end. So we're going to start off with this sharp looking example of the 1975 Topps George Brett rookie card. Man, when I saw this, the colors on it just popped. 75s are notorious for those little print dots type of thing. I don't see any on here. The worst is, yeah, it's a little off center left to right, but the colors and corners and just everything, it spoke to me. And I'm very happy to have picked up this card. Here is the back of it as well. That's, again, nice back on that. So very happy to finally add the George Brett rookie to my collection. This was one that once I started up my vintage collection, in addition to the 1980 Rickey Henderson rookie, this was one that I had to have in my collection at some point. Just never pulled the trigger. Situation wasn't right, whatever, but it was at this national. So I'm going to put that one over there. All right, the next one here is one card that I owned several years ago. It was part of about 10 or 12 cards that I ended up selling. Regretted it ever since. I've been able to pick up a few of those cards that I sold, and this was one that I had. I think I may have had it in a grade higher, but nonetheless, this example that I picked up is just amazing, and it's the 1970 Thurman Munson rookie card. And everyone I showed off this card to, they couldn't believe it was a 5. The centering is dead on. It's the corners, and I think for whatever reason this thing got hammered based on the corners. There's a little softness there, a little white there, but my goodness, the presentation on this is just amazing for a 5. And there is a back, nice clean back as well. So happy to bring back this card to my vintage collection, and that is card number 19. All right, the next on the list is a very, very popular vintage card of this player, probably more popular than his rookie card, and that is the 69 Topps Johnny Bench. Now, I've been looking at these cards on eBay for several months in this grade of around a 4, and I have yet, other than this one I picked up here at the National, have seen one so well centered. They were always predominantly left to right off centered that I just wasn't comfortable with the eye appeal. And then I saw this one. Now, I may have paid a little bit more because of the centering. Again, some of these 69s are so hard to find well centered. And it may not be perfect, but man, that is darn close. Again, probably got dinged for corners, which I am perfectly fine. Nice clean back as well. Just really, really happy to have this one here. I just love the pose of Johnny Bench. His rookie was one of the cards like the Thurman Munson that I used to have in my collection. So one day I will get the Johnny Bench rookie card and hopefully try to complete his run at least up to 1980. Now that I have this one here, I know I'm still missing some of the early 70s cards of Johnny Bench. I think I have maybe later 70s into the into 1980 and stuff like that. So still have a little ways to go with Johnny Bench, but this was a big pickup, his second year rookie cup card. All right, I'm maybe running out of room here. Let's see. All right, the next one is yet another. So we have a George Brett rookie, a Thurman Munson rookie, second year Johnny Bench. We have another rookie card, and this is the 1965 rookie card of Steve Carlton, again in a 4. The George Brett was one that I wanted to get in a 7. I don't normally get hung up on the grade, but just like the 1980 Rickey Henderson, I wanted that in an 8. I wanted the George Brett in a 7. I don't know. There were just certain cards that I wanted in a certain grade. Everything else, it's more about the card than the number. So, in fact, I think this was the one, I believe. This was the one where the seller, or the dealer, also had a copy in a PSA 5. And I looked at both of them, and honestly, I couldn't tell the difference between the two copies. So, of course, I picked the cheaper one. And just the white on that, the centering. I am starting to love PSA 4 vintage cards. Once you get under a 4, that's when you start getting some creases and things like that, which, typically knock cards down to at least a 3. A 4, you're typically dealing with centering issues, corner wear, things like that. Not to say a 4 can't have some creasing in it, but I've been able to pick up some pretty nice looking 4s. Had to be patient on the centering. That's the big thing. But I don't care about the corners, but this thing is really sharp. And here is the back. Again, may not be perfect, but goodness. Really nice back to that as well. So, yep, this would be, say, 18, 19, 20. This is card number 21. The Steve Carlton rookie card. All right, 2 more. We have the 1958 Topps Hank Aaron white name. Now, if you're not familiar, but there are some 58 Topps that have the white in the for the player's name. Others have yellow, or possibly just matching the color of the team. So in this case, Hank Aaron has a yellow name version. I sort of like the yellow name version better, but I'm not sure if I saw too many yellow name versions there. I believe the white are a little bit harder to find, if I'm not mistaken. Not a lot harder to find. So there isn't a whole lot of price difference, I don't believe, between the two versions. But I saw this one here. It's off center top to bottom, but with vintage cards, I don't mind the top to bottom as much as left to right. That left to right centering is, again, dead on. That green background is so solid there. Just really love this Hank Aaron card. It's just, I want to get his 57. Of course, I'm working on the Hank Aaron run. It's going to be a while till I get his rookie card. But, the 57 is one. The 61 I really like. But this 58, I think, is one of his nicer looking cards. And here is the back. Now, one of the things that dropped this grade down to a 4. So if you look at the front, you look at the corners, there's a little ding there or whatever, but nothing too major on the front. If you look at the back, I'm not sure if this is gum, wax stains, or whatever. When you hold it onto an angle, that looks, whatever it is, looks fairly thick on there. So I'm sure it's not water stained, because it would have gone through the front of the card. So whatever it is, it's just on the back. You know what? I don't buy cards for the backs. Would I like to have them, a full back, so nothing's really cut off, to be off center or miscut type thing? Yes. But here, I don't mind there being some stuff on the surface. I can still read everything, no problem. It's the front of the card, and this is a great example of the 58 Topps in a with the white name version. So this is number 22 on my list. So let's see if I can put that. I'll put that right there under Johnny Bench. All right, the last one, and I did not expect. This was not on my radar at all. I didn't expect to come away from the National owning this card. I don't know if I saw too many copies of it actually at the National. Again, not that I was really looking for it. And my guess is if there were other copies of it, they were probably in much higher grades and way higher price point than I could afford. But I saw this card, saw the price, was able to make a deal on it, and had to have it. And it is the 53 Bowman Color Wee Reese. It's a 2. It has dings for the centering. It has dings for the corners. There's a small little, just right there, almost on the black border there. Looks like a small little indent by like a pen or something like that. It's not a hole. It doesn't go through the surface to the back. In fact, you can't even see an indentation in the back, let alone it go through. Nice clean back. And the main thing is the registration on this. I'll try to get it, see if the camera can focus here. Come on, there we go. Look at that registration. That is just spot on. Now there is a slight sort of a wrinkle in the card. Maybe that goes from the player's shoe there down to the bottom on an angle, but it's in the dirt there, and you can't. When you have to really look and hold a card at a certain angle just to see an imperfection, and it's because it got a 2, and you know you got a good card. So really happy, a little bit unexpected, to be honest with you, that I picked this card up, but it's such an iconic vintage card from the 50s. That action shot is just amazing. Anyway, so happy to have this. This is card number 23 on my list. So there you go. The update. It was a month, I believe, since I picked up card 17 till I picked these cards up from the National. Given what I spent at the National, it may be a little while till I get card number 24, but we'll see. There are still a couple fairly low-hanging fruit that if I can find the right card, wouldn't cost me an arm and a leg. But at this point, I'm starting to get into the probably 150, 200, 250 plus price point on some of these cards, again, depending on the grades. So maybe a little bit more few and far between here for a little while, but you never know. So would love to know what your thoughts are on my latest acquisitions toward my 100 cards for $100,000 in the comments of the video. That's all I have for you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.